Have you ever finished playing a song and looked at your results screen just to be greeted with a ton of greats? I have bad news for you. Your timing sucks. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Jeff, and okay. Before we settle on this conclusion, there's a few things we can check out first before accepting that your timing sucks. Today, I want to talk about a few tips to help you guys dial in your timing. The very first thing on this list, and probably the first thing you should do whenever starting a new game, is to set your note speed and offset. I already have a couple videos on these topics that go a little more in depth, so if you haven't already, go check those out. But basically for note speed, you want to increase it to a point where the notes are well spread out, but not so fast that you aren't able to keep up. Personally, I read at about 10.8. And as for your offset, for brand new players still learning the game, I always recommend leaving this at 0. Because it's more important to focus on fundamentals and practicing pattern recognition. Your timing or accuracy will improve naturally over time. And for the more experienced rhythm gamers, I suggest picking a song that you like and that you're able to play comfortably, and play it like 20 times, adjusting your offset little by little until you feel like the notes are in time with the music. Anyways, that's just a quick overview. I go into more detail in these videos, so definitely check those out. So, it's no secret that I play Project Sekai on an iPad. But did you know I actually bought this iPad specifically only for rhythm games? So I don't really use it for much else. My routine is usually I'll have my gaming session for maybe an hour or so. And when I'm done, I'll just lock the screen or close the cover. And when I come back for the next session, I'll unlock the screen and the game will already be running. So what that means is that my game is technically running for days or even weeks at a time, just in the background. And this has caused some issues of the notes becoming off sync with the music. It's gotten to the point sometimes where I'd have to adjust my offset to -4 or -5, which is really insane. So tip number 2 is to try to fully close out your game after every session, so that the next time you want to play, the game is on a fresh start. Now, I'm not exactly sure what causes this. I want to say it might be a memory leak or something along the lines of that. I don't know. I'm not a programmer, and it's not really my area of expertise. All I can say is that force closing the game and restarting will bring my offset back. And instead of needing to be at -4, I'm back down to -2 or less. And on top of closing out your game with every session, I would also recommend rebooting your device once a week to make sure that you're getting the most optimized gameplay available to you. For tip number 3, I noticed that if I'm playing while my iPad is being charged, it'll start to heat up pretty badly, and this will cause some lag. It's never gotten so bad to the point that I feel like I'm getting a ton of misses and failing songs, but I do notice that my accuracy takes a hit, where I'm picking up 20 more greats than I usually am when I'm playing while my iPad is charging. So if you're really grinding for an AP or a full combo, I would suggest leaving it off the charger during your session. Now, this next tip is going to sound weird without context, but tip number 4 is to adjust how close the screen is to your face. The best example I can find of this phenomenon is like when you're watching a video of someone else playing. Most likely you're like me, thinking to yourself, yeah, I can definitely do that. But when you actually try playing it, it's not as easy as you imagined it would be. And the reason for that is the further away you are from the screen, the notes are perceived to be going slower to your eyes. Like, look at this gameplay right now. You can just look at it and see it all without needing to use your peripherals, or really move your eyeballs at all. Now let's take the same gameplay, but pretend it's a lot closer. Now, I didn't change the speed or anything, it's just closer. Now be honest, did any of you move away from your screen to be able to read the notes better? Or if you're watching from a phone or a tablet, did you try to push it further back? That is basically what I do if I'm in the middle of a song and there's a fast section that I cannot for the life of me keep up with. I'll try to move my face further away to a point where the notes look like they're a little more manageable. Now, I'm not saying this will work for everyone, but it's definitely something worth keeping in mind when you're really trying to fine-tune your accuracy. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about. Tip number 5, you gotta lift your fingers more. Now this one's only going to really affect a small handful of you, but I know some newer players are kinda sloppy with their playing. And to clarify, this is not an insult or anything against you or any other player. Some people just don't really put a lot of thought into where they're tapping or their playstyle. And that's okay if it works for you, but think of it like dragging your feet when you walk. Because yes, in the end, you'll still reach your destination, but then your shoes might be a bit dirtier at the end of your journey. Or in other words, your song results will have more greats than normal. If you're just going for full combos or don't really care too much about your scores, as long as it's a pass, that's fine. That's how you want to play, and that's okay. But if you're really concerned about accuracy and you want that AP, I would suggest putting more thought into every tap. Going back to the walking metaphor, the only way to fix the way you walk is to actually put thought into every step you take, making sure you're properly lifting each foot as you walk. In the beginning, it's going to be a daunting and mundane task, but eventually you will get used to it, and after a while, you won't even have to think about it anymore. It just becomes natural. That's what I want you to do with your playing. Make every tap count. You might have to go back to the basics and practice on easier songs, and to a lot of people, that is torture. But I promise once you start becoming more deliberate with your taps, your accuracy will start to increase, and eventually you can start playing more minimal and finding that sweet spot between playing cleanly and essentially dragging your feet. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. Hopefully these tips came across how I intended, and there's no miscommunications or misunderstandings. But if you have any questions or anything you'd like to add on to the conversation, please feel free to leave a comment down below. My name is Jeff, or you can call me Loud Loser. I make rhythm game content, and I love making these types of videos. If you have an idea or topic you'd like me to talk about, go ahead and drop it in the comments. I've got a ton of scripts and videos I'm working on, but I'm always down to keep adding on to it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and here's a video YouTube thinks you might enjoy.